Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow were more than just criminals. They were cultural icons. Their fiery romance and reckless crime spree across the American South during the Great Depression immortalized them as outlaws who defied the system. But their story didn't end with the bloody ambush in 1934 that riddled their bodies with bullets. Some believe their restless spirits have lingered in the mortal world, bound by their violent deeds and unbreakable bond. Over the decades, tales of hauntings, ghostly apparitions, and terrifying encounters have turned the infamous duo's story into a dark legend, a tale of love, revenge, and eerie screams that echo through the night. It began with the aftermath of their deaths. The Ford V8 they were ambushed in, a bullet-riddled reminder of their violent end, was confiscated and sold to a traveling carnival. The car, a symbol of their infamy, became a macabre attraction, drawing morbid curiosity seekers eager to see the spot where Bonnie and Clyde met their brutal fate. But the vehicle seemed to carry more than just the scars of gunfire. Those who came into contact with it reported strange sensations. Carnival workers claimed to hear faint whispers near the car at night. One man swore he heard a woman humming a soft tune, though no one was around. Another reported a chilling experience. While cleaning the car's interior, he caught a glimpse of a shadowy figure in the driver's seat. The figure, he claimed, turned to look at him, its face pale and its eyes filled with sorrow. He quit his job that very night. The Ford V8 was later purchased by a wealthy collector who displayed it in his private showroom. Shortly after acquiring it, he began experiencing recurring nightmares of a woman weeping and a man shouting, "Run, Bonnie!" He reported hearing phantom gunshots in the middle of the night and the sound of tires screeching, as if the car itself was reliving its final moments. He eventually sold the car, unable to endure the eerie occurrences. But the strange events weren't limited to the car. The places Bonnie and Clyde visited during their crime spree seemed to retain their presence. One of the most chilling locations tied to their legacy is a remote farmhouse in Louisiana, believed to have been one of their hideouts. For years, the house stood abandoned, its broken windows and sagging roof a testament to time and neglect. Locals avoided it, claiming it was cursed. The stories began with strange sounds, phantom footsteps on the creaky wooden floors, disembodied voices whispering late at night, and the soft melody of a harmonica drifting through the air. One local man, curious about the legends, ventured into the house one evening. He described feeling an oppressive heaviness as soon as he stepped inside, as though unseen eyes were watching him. In one of the upstairs rooms, he found a dusty notebook filled with handwritten poetry. As he flipped through its pages, he heard a faint voice behind him whisper, "Do you like my poems?" He turned, but no one was there. He fled the house and never returned. In the 1970s, a young family moved into the farmhouse, dismissing the stories as superstitious nonsense. It wasn't long before they began to experience the unexplainable. The youngest daughter, a 6-year-old girl, started talking to someone she called the Pretty Lady. She described her as having curly hair and sad eyes, often sitting by the window with a notebook in her lap. The girl's parents brushed it off as an imaginary friend, until they too began experiencing strange phenomena. Late at night, they would hear heavy boots pacing the hallway. Doors slammed shut on their own, and cold spots moved through the house, leaving an icy chill in their wake. The father once woke up to see a man standing at the foot of his bed. The figure wore a wide-brimmed hat and had a menacing presence. When the father reached for the lamp, the figure vanished, leaving the room freezing cold. The family eventually abandoned the house, unable to endure the escalating disturbances. Paranormal investigators later visited the site, capturing chilling evidence of ghostly activity. An EVP recording revealed a faint voice saying, "We'll never leave," and another whispering, "Stay with me, Clyde." The roads and highways where Bonnie and Clyde once fled from the law have also become hotspots for eerie encounters. Truck drivers traveling through rural Louisiana have reported seeing a bloodied woman standing by the roadside, her arms outstretched as if begging for help. When they stop, she vanishes into thin air. One particularly disturbing account comes from a couple traveling late at night. They saw a man limping along the side of the road, his face pale and drawn. Thinking he needed help, They slowed their car, but as they approached, the man turned to face them. His eyes were hollow and his face seemed to flicker as though it wasn't entirely solid. The couple sped away in terror, convinced they had encountered Clyde's ghost. Even hotels and motels where Bonnie and Clyde stayed during their crime spree have their own tales of paranormal activity. In one Dallas hotel, guests staying in a room rumored to have hosted the couple reported waking up to the sound of laughter and whispers. Some described hearing the faint strumming of a guitar and the soft humming of a woman's voice. One guest, staying there on a business trip, claimed he woke up to see two shadowy figures standing by the window. The taller figure had his arm around the smaller one, both of them staring out as if watching for someone. The man watched in horror as the figures slowly faded away, leaving behind an overwhelming sense of sadness. Historians and skeptics often dismiss these stories as folklore, exaggerated over time, but those who have experienced the unexplainable are adamant that Bonnie and Clyde's spirits are very real and very restless. Their violent deaths, their passionate bond, and their unrepentant lives created an energy too powerful to be extinguished. To this day, their story continues to haunt the living. The haunted artifacts, the chilling apparitions, and the whispers in the dark serve as reminders of a love so intense that even death couldn't sever it. Bonnie and Clyde's legacy isn't just one of crime and infamy, it's a legacy of lingering sorrow and restless spirits. If you ever find yourself on a lonely stretch of road, or near an old abandoned house and you hear the faint sound of a harmonica, or see a shadowy figure watching you from a distance, remember their story. And whatever you do, don't stop. Don't look back. For Bonnie and Clyde's haunted legacy is a dark reminder that some bonds are too strong to be broken, even by death.